why there's still Jews around, after all. Every nation in the world has tried to destroy us, either physically, often, or spiritually through assimilation and intermarriage. And yet, we still hang around. And not only hang around, one could hang around by living in a cave in Afghanistan. But no, we continue to flourish, to contribute to the world. Even Jews that are very far away from the Torah continue to win Nobel Prizes and provide the world with all sorts of wonderful technologies, literature, philosophy, science, medicine, economics. Anti-Semites like to say that Jews control the world. Well, let me tell you a little secret. In many ways they do, because our influence is beyond any type of rational understanding. We are a minute percentage of the world. And yet the impact of Jews and Judaism on the world is incalculable. In every single sphere, even sometimes in negative spheres like communism and psychoanalysis and the like. A great rabbi, Rav Yaakov Emden, remarked around 250 years ago that the miracle of Jewish survival is greater than the exodus of Egypt, the 10 plagues, and the splitting of the Red Sea. People often say, why doesn't God do miracles today? Why doesn't he split the Red Sea? If only he would take, Jews out of Egypt like he did, then I would believe in God. Rav Yaakov Emden's response is, the miracle of us being here, and let me point out, that was before there was a Holocaust. Now we factor in the Holocaust and pogroms and all sorts of other things, is a greater miracle than even the exodus of Egypt. Indeed, Mark Twain wrote a very famous article in the 1890s about the Jewish people. He was accused of anti-Semitism and he wanted to defend himself. And Mark Twain wrote an article, kind of some of my best friends are Jewish type of thing, but he made the point that every nation in history were world empires, the Sumerians, the Babylonians, the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Persian Empire. They wanted to destroy us. And these are the most powerful, magnificent civilizations that walk the earth. And they are all in the dust. They are gone. They are simply memories in history. And the little nation they wanted to destroy is still here. Indeed, it is a miracle. If you ask me why, how do I explain it rationally? The short answer is there is no rational explanation. And that is precisely the proof that God must have created us or designated us for a special purpose. There has to be a reason, because otherwise it makes no sense. There was a famous British historian, Arnold Toynbee, who wrote his works in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And he wrote a multi-volume study of historical civilizations. I believe he analyzed 50 civilizations in his classic work, A Study of History. And what he tried to do is he tried to analyze all of these civilizations and find the common factors that were responsible for their success, their rise, and their decline and their failure. Imagine the massive information he had to master. 50 different civilizations, the Hittites, the Assyrians, the Canaanites, the Babylonians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Persians, and many more. And he was able to brilliantly identify the factors that explain all of these civilizations. What makes them tick? What makes them decline? But there was one nation that didn't fit. He couldn't explain why there were Jewish people. Now, people say that Toynbee was an anti-Semite, but I can't really blame him. If you have this wonderful theory that explains 49 out of 50 civilizations, and you're ready to do a 2,000-page book, and it's the Jewish people that kind of prevent your theory from coming out, yeah, I would be mad at the Jews too. They ruined my book. But he couldn't explain it, because all of the factors that normally create a cohesive, enduring civilization, the Jewish people didn't have. Common language. We didn't have for so many years. So many Jews didn't speak Hebrew. Common territory. We were in exile for so many years. We weren't living in the land of Israel. Why should there be cohesiveness? Why should Jews survive as Jews when they go to America and they go to all these different countries? So because of this, Toynbee coined an interesting phrase Toynbee called the Jewish people a fossil. He basically said there is no explanation. It's like finding a dinosaur, in the forest that somehow survived. And this was taken as an anti-Semitic remark, and in the 1960s, Yaakov Herzog, the son of Israel's first chief rabbi, who was a diplomat, was debating Toynbee on college campuses. This was a famous collegiate debate, the Herzog-Toynbee debate, whether Jews are a fossilized people or a vibrant people. But I would like to defend Toynbee over here in the following way. If Toynbee means to say that there is no logical historical reason for there to be a Jewish people, and that's what he means by the term fossil, I would say he's right. We are not logical. Our existence is an absurdity. It shouldn't be. It doesn't make sense. And that itself is proof of the divine mission that the Jewish people must have. The great Maharal of Prague writes that this is why the covenant that God makes with Abraham is the Brit Milah, the circumcision that is done on the 8th day. What is the significance of the number 8 in Jewish numerology? Maharal says, God created the natural world in 6 days and rested on the Shabbat. So the cycle of 7 represents nature, physical nature, and the culmination of the Shabbat. The number 8 is a relationship that is above nature. It transcends nature. It is not within the bounds of the probabilistic, deterministic world that God created. The covenant God has with the Jewish people is something that is totally above nature. All I can say is there is no logic. And the fact that something has no logical explanation is in itself the greatest proof that it is a gift of the divine. And if God has made the miracle of the Jewish people, then we have to ask ourselves some very, very hard questions. Why? And our answer, the answer that Judaism believes, is that God kept us alive and God chose us to be a light unto the world, to live the teachings of the Torah, to exemplify morality, compassion, goodness, commitment, dedication to the Jewish people and to some degree to the entire world. And if we don't live up to our mission, and if we don't try to accomplish the reason that we're here, there is indeed a question. Why are there Jewish people at all? So he who owes his existence to a miracle owes it to God to find out why that miracle took place. And the answer will, of course, be in the Torah itself.